Now I'm going to test you numerology skills by asking you to think about the magic 7. Okay? Most of you will know that 7 is quite a number in all sorts of themes, religions, and I'm sure that you can compress numbers as well. So.
Good evening, everyone. Wow, that has an echo. Buenas noches, buenas tardes. I'm Felice Gordo, and on behalf of the U.S. Executive Directorship here at the World Bank, it's a real honor and a privilege to be able to host today's event in our beautiful atrium and with a very special guest, Homeland Security Secretary Ali Mayorkas. Today is a special day here at the bank, a special day to be able to commemorate and celebrate our rich and diverse Hispanic heritage. For those who don't know the Secretary, he's an immigrant himself, and like my family with deep Cuban roots. He's the son of a Holocaust survivor who knows firsthand what it is to flee your homeland because of homegrown hate and oppression.
Let me ask you about this specifically. CISA was created to, we call it the Misinformation and Disinformation Subcommittee of CISA. Are you familiar with that? MDM, the MDM subcommittee, you're familiar with that?
Congressman, I am very well aware of the threat of disinformation emanating from adverse nations.
Are you familiar with the subcommittee? Just answer the question.
I am.
Okay. Does it still exist?
Congressman, are you speaking of the...
Does the MDM subcommittee still exist?
I would have to get back to you on that.
Okay. All right.
And he's living proof and testament to the great American dream. His record speaks for itself. He's been a tireless advocate and a champion for the cause of the least amongst us, especially the immigrant, the exile, the refugee, because it's personal to him, deeply personal to him.
And we hear the cries of freedom coming from the island.
This is Cuban Americans meet with the Commander-in-Chief Friday.
And Felice Gordo has the experience and vision the United States needs to tackle the challenges the World Bank faces today.
Mr. Gordo, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
You are.
Great, thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair, Ranking Member, and distinguished members of the committee. I am humbled and honored to have been nominated by President Joe Biden to be the next United States alternate executive director for the World Bank. I would also like to personally thank the chairman, Chairman Menendez, for his very kind and moving introduction, for which I'm deeply grateful.
The new criminal charges come just weeks after a sweeping indictment charged Menendez and his wife of accepting hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash, gold bars, and a luxury car, all from 3 New Jersey businessmen with ties to Egypt in exchange for the senator's help and influence.
I'm tremendously appreciative to my mother, Marta Serra Moore, who was reunited with our Creator 7 years ago today.
The younger generation here at Roots of Hope will make this 90-mile trip this Friday. They're hoping that the Pope's visit will continue to ease the relations between the U.S. and Cuba. Felice Gordo is one of the 189 people making the holy pilgrimage from Miami to Cuba. He's focused on the Pope's connection to the youth on the island.
And I think the Pope is going to send a message.
And my mother worked in education for over 2 decades. They nurtured in me a purpose-driven resolve to ensure that we live up to the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 25. To feed the hungry, heal the sick, and welcome the stranger. My Jesuit education and upbringing further cultivated my vocation to service, taking part in humanitarian missions in Latin America during my high school years, and then founding a non-governmental organization while I was in college called Roots of Hope, which still exists today and focuses on empowering Cuban youth to become the authors of their own futures.